The Coyote Twin, Vermilion's downtown theater. Providing entertainment Thursdays through Sundays.
Coming up on Coyote News, the first inclusive restroom policy in the state of South Dakota is passed.
Plus, the celebration of Festival of Lights. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Good evening, I'm Sierra Prue.
And I'm Rachel Peckosh. We'll have those stories and more, but first. Vermilion School Board made South Dakota history when they passed a new gender equity policy. Coyote News' Kate Cromer has a story from Monday's meeting.
After nearly 3 hours of public testimony, the Vermilion School Board passed a new gender equity policy, the first inclusive policy in the state of South Dakota. The policy allows students to use the pronoun, name, and restroom that aligns with their preferred gender identity. Opponents of the policy voiced concerns that students would be granted the right to keep their transgender identity private at school, with no duty to inform parental figures.
This undermines parental rights by imposing no obligation on the part of the school to inform parents of a student's change in behavior regarding sexual identity is negligent. Keeping secrets from parents is a tactic of cults and abusers and should never be the practice of a school district.
Proponents of the policy urged that the school board has a duty to protect all students and that similar enacted policies have saved transgender children's lives.
I urge you to vote in favor of this policy, letting transgender students in our districts know that they are loved, they are supported, and they are valued and known. Thank you.
To address concerns from the public, the board opted to remove sections of the policy regarding overnight accommodations and locker room use to allow for further discussion at a later date. Reporting for Coyote News, I'm Kate Cromer.
The Vermilion School Board will hold its next monthly meeting on December 8th.
USD kicked off Native American Heritage Month with a drum group's first performance. The drum group is made up of students, faculty, and staff. They performed at the first Friday event hosted by Coyote in the Center for Diversity and Community. Coyote President Rachel Overstreet says this month brings students together.
We are having a Spirit Week next week. Essentially what we try to do is support Native students on campus by giving them an opportunity to express their culture and do it with other people as well.
Coyote plans to end their Spirit Week with a dinner at the Native American Cultural Center. The group encourages students to take a second to honor the month's meaning throughout the year. The Munster University Center is home to many events. Joining Coyote News' Michael Stake live in the muck is the Director of Operations. Michael?
Thanks, Sierra. I'm here with Faith Guzzo, Munster University Center of Coordinator.
Hello.
Can you tell us some events the muck has scheduled upcoming?
Yeah, so we have a lot of events that we have every week here in the muck. Our next big event is this Saturday. We're hosting Student Tailgate over north of the Dakota Dome. We also have Motivation Mondays, which happen basically every Monday, where we always have an activity for students. On Tuesdays from 3 to 4 p.m., we always have yote floats in the muck pit. So if you're interested in coming and getting a root beer float, that happens every Tuesdays. And then on Fridays, we have something called Fantastic Friday, which is another event where we always have activities for students. That is generally in the muck pit as well. And then on Fridays, we also have free popcorn Fridays. So if you want to come get some popcorn, the muck desk always has that available as well on Fridays.
And speaking about scheduling event, how would one be able to schedule an event here in the muck?
So if someone is interested in scheduling an event in the muck or in any of our conference rooms or the ballroom, you can either stop by the muck information desk to talk to me. My desk is right behind there. You can also go onto the Coyote One Stop where there's information on how to do it, or go to rooms@usd.edu, and that'll take you to 25 Live, which is our scheduling system. You should be able to log in with your username and password, and then you should be able to schedule events from there.
And lastly, how does the muck help students during finals?
So we have a lot of things coming up during finals. We will have a few different events to de-stress. A lot of those will be in the muck pits. We also will have goodie bags passed out from the president That'll be happening the week of finals as well. So make sure you check the Muck activities boards and the advertising wall in the Muck if you want to learn more.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Live in the Muck with Coyote News, I'm Michael Stake.
Thanks, Michael. This week, the Muck is hosting International Education Week.
University police say campus safety for students, faculty, and the university itself is a top priority. Every year, students and UPD officers hold an annual safety walk to improve the overall protection of the university. On the walk, students pointed out several areas of concern. UPD plans to add more light poles and brighter lights to improve student protections. This semester, UPD's also hired student security officers to assist with tasks like building lockups, property reports, and parking lot patrols. Students who feel unsafe around campus can download the USD Safe app, which provides real-time location information to emergency contacts and the University Police Department. Julian Hall is scheduled for demolition next year, and the planned parking lot taking its place will be built with additional lights.
Still to come on Coyote News, jazz musicians share their culture with USD students.
The Student Government Association is a great way for students to actually impact on what happens to campus or make a meaningful change through legislation in SGA.
We have the tools and the technology. This tech tells stories. Tell yours. Participation in the KYOT TV Practicum is open to all full-time USD students. Join Coyote News today.
This is Coyote News.
Aramark has provided food service to USD for the past 15 years, but things may look a bit different during the school year next year. Aramark's contract with USD is set to expire in May. As a result, the university has entered a joint request along with all Regental schools for a proposal for a new food vendor. The Senate Bill 55 task force led to the joint proposal.
The end goal, if all goes well, we'll have one food service provider for all state institutions. The idea is that you could leverage the efficiencies of having every institution having a singular partner. So that was part of this Senate Bill 55 process to help drive costs and keep them low.
House says a new partnership will create new opportunities for students, faculty, staff, and the community. A new food vendor will be selected by late March, with the transitional period occurring over summer break.
Yesterday, South Dakota's House launched an investigation into whether the state's Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg should be impeached for his conduct surrounding a car crash last year that killed a pedestrian. It could take weeks for the committee of 7 Republicans and 2 Democrats to delve into the crash investigation. Ravnsborg pleaded no contest in August to a pair of misdemeanors in the crash that killed a 55-year-old who was walking along a rural highway. Ravnsborg has insisted that he did not realize he killed a man until he returned to the scene the next day and discovered his body. A state official has never been impeached in South Dakota. The investigative committee did not schedule its first meeting, but said it would meet next week.
After several months, a group of jazz musicians and instructors got back together to provide USD students with the opportunity to listen and be introduced to jazz music. Coyote News' Cameron McIntyre got a chance to explore the culture of jazz in Vermilion.
Vermilion's jazz scene is small, but very active with performing their music in the region. While jazz music is more prominent in bigger cities such as Sioux Falls and Sioux City, jazz's culture can be heard by listeners anywhere.
It's a great American art form that I think is really accessible to anybody. You know, it's fun, the creative aspect, the groove, the beat of it, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily think or realize that maybe they would enjoy this type of music.
Coyotes can listen to jazz performances here in Vermilion from USD's jazz band.
There's not a lot happening in Vermilion, which is one of the reasons we decided this would be fun to put this together. Of course, we have our student big bands, the student jazz ensembles that are playing. We thought it'd be fun to put something together and do in Vermilion here at the MUC so that a lot of students could come and check it out, and some of the students that we get to work with. So we thought it would kind of be kind of a fun atmosphere to do it here.
A schedule for events like Jazz Night is posted on the whiteboard in front of the MUC pit. For Coyote News, I'm Cameron McIntyre.
USD's jazz band performs concerts on campus and on tour each semester. Events for jazz ensembles are posted on their Facebook at University of South Dakota Bands.
The annual Festival of Lights Diwali was hosted by the Asian Student Association on Saturday. Diwali is one of the main Hindu celebrations. The festival is a 5-day event. The official Diwali day is on day 3, but this year, because of space issues, the celebration took place on the 5th day. The association's president, Pooja Midduel, says it's an important celebration at USD.
We're in a town where there's not a lot of brown population, so not many people get to enjoy it. And when I first came here, I think the one thing I was happy about was being able to celebrate Diwali, because it's a big festival for us, and the fact that we had an organization doing it made me feel like home.
The Diwali festival was catered by Shahi Palace from Sioux Falls. In March, the Asian Student Association plans to collaborate with the Nepali Student Association for the Festival of Colors known as Holi.
Have you ever thought about studying abroad in Greece? This summer might be your chance to make it a reality. Students will have the chance to go to Greece for 3 weeks and earn 3 to 6 course credits. They'll be going through Patras, Corinth, Athens, and more. Students will learn about the modern Greek lifestyle as well as ancient Greece. The application for this trip closes on January 15th. For more information, visit www.islesofgreece.com.
Yesterday, former South Dakota Governor Frank Farrar was memorialized in a ceremony at the state capitol. He died last month at the age of 92. Farrar was known as the boy wonder of South Dakota politics after he became the youngest person ever elected state attorney general in 1962. He became the state's 24th governor 6 years later, easily winning the general election. At 65, after being told he had terminal cancer, Farrar began competing in triathlons and Ironman competitions, which he credited for his longevity and helping him beat cancer. He left politics to focus on banking and philanthropy, but remained a regular figure at South Dakota political events.
Last night, the women's basketball team kicked off their season.
That's right, Rachel. When we return, Sydney will have details on that game and more.
In the United States, approximately 6.3 million animals enter shelters every year. Of those, only 3.2 million will be adopted, and over 920,000 will be euthanized. Help put a stop to animal homelessness, save a life, and rescue your next best friend.
This is Coyote News.
This is Coyote Sports. I'm Sydney Funderman. The Coyotes had a couple wins over the weekend, and I have details. Last night, the Coyotes women's basketball team fell short by 2 points to the Oklahoma Sooners. The game took place inside the Sanford Coyote Sports Center, where over 3,100 fans attended. Those fans played a factor early on as the Coyotes started by scoring the first 7 points, which helped give them a 1-point edge to end the first quarter. Oklahoma had a strong second and third quarter, putting them up by 9 heading into the fourth. A late push by the Coyotes put them down by 3 with 20 seconds remaining. A missed shot rebounded by Hannah Shervin, who passed it out to Liv Corngable behind the arch, sending it through the net to tie the game at 71 apiece. Oklahoma called a timeout, drawing up a play for a potential game winner, and it worked, as Sooners scored with 5 seconds left, starting their year in the win column. The Coyotes hope to bounce back against the #1 team in the nation, South Carolina, Friday at 6 in the Sioux Falls Sanford Pentagon. The Coyote volleyball team earned a pair of wins last week on the road. On Thursday, USD was in Macomb taking on the Western Illinois Leathernecks. WIU pushed USD to the edge in the first 2 sets, but the Coyotes prevailed, winning both of those sets by a 2-point margin. The third set was all the Coyotes as they completed the sweep with a set score of 25-17. USD faced off against St. Thomas on Saturday. The Tommies took set 1, but the following 2 were controlled by the Coyotes. St. Thomas scored 8 straight points late in set 4, but the Coyotes were able to close it out with a kill by Madison Harms. The Coyotes are now 12-2 in Summit League play and will be back home facing off against Denver tomorrow and against Omaha on Sunday for Senior Day. The Coyote football team got back in the win column on Saturday. USD traveled to Macomb to take on the 2-7 Leathernecks of Western Illinois. The Coyotes started strong as quarterback Carson Camp found Carter Bell, who ran the field for a 91-yard touchdown. The Leathernecks tallied 2 more touchdowns to take the lead, but Camp once again found Bell, this time for a 60-yard touchdown. A pair of Yotes scores ended the half 28-14 in favor of USD. The Coyotes added insurance with 2 more touchdowns, leading them to a 42-21 win. With this victory, the Coyotes sit at number 19 in the FCS and will be hosting in-state rival number 4, SDSU, Saturday at 1. After those 2 games, the team will head into the playoffs. Coyote News' Philip Larson is live in the muck to get details about some upcoming sporting events. Phil?
Thanks, Sydney. I'm here with Brock Widener, who is the KYOT TV Sports Director here at USD. So Brock, what can you tell us about the special production you're working on with the Coyotes facing off against SDSU this Saturday?
Yeah, so we're working on a rivalry special for the big football game on Saturday. It will air immediately following the reruns of Coyote News on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday right before the football game. So it should be definitely fun. We're working on like the final cuts here tonight, and it should look pretty well. We see the early editions have looked nice, so stay tuned for that.
And there are multiple sporting events happening this week. Could you elaborate on a few of those?
Yeah, a lot of sporting events. It's a busy week here in the Vermilion area. You know, a big game that just happened on last night, where the women's team took on a receiving boat team in Oklahoma. A great game. It went down to the wire. You know, Liv Korngable had a nice shot that tied it up in the last couple of seconds, but Oklahoma was able to pull it off with about 4 seconds left. And it was just really nice to see the SESU packed. 3,100 fans in attendance last night.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Brock.
Thank you.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Philip Larson.
Thanks, Phil. To watch the USD-SDSU rivalry special, tune to Channel 21 at 5:30 and 6:30 Thursday and Friday evening. The Coyote soccer team competed in the Summit League playoffs last week. USD faced number 1 seeded Denver on Thursday. Denver controlled the pace of the game and outshot the Coyotes every step of the way. A Pioneer goal 53 minutes into the contest broke the stalemate. Jordan Centineo found the back of the net with under 10 minutes remaining to tie it back up. After 2 scoreless overtimes, the game went into penalty kicks. USD fell 4-2 in PKs, sending Denver to the championship round where they would eventually lose to SDSU. The Coyotes end the year with 10 wins, 4 losses, and 4 ties, the most victories in the history of the program's Division I era. Cold weather is approaching and more activities are moving indoors. The USD Wellness Center continues to offer intramurals throughout the school year. Currently, floor hockey, dodgeball, and basketball are being played. Basketball games are played Monday through Thursday and consist of a 4-week season with a tournament afterwards. All teams are co-ed with a competitive and recreational league.
I chose to do intramurals to hang out with some new friends and to meet people. My favorite part is actually seeing everybody come together as a team and play against each other.
Students interested in joining intramural sports are encouraged to check out IM Leagues online through the Wellness Center's website. Students can no longer join a team but are welcome to register as a free agent. There's an upcoming indoor soccer tournament later this month, along with esports events that are also part of the intramural programs. That's all for your Coyote Sports. Coming up on Coyote News, students told us about their side hustles.
What good is having a well-equipped TV studio without a committed crew to fill it? Participation in the KYOT TV practicum is open to all full-time USD students. Join Coyote News today. We have the tools and the technology. This tech tells stories. Tell yours.
This is Coyote News.
On top of being a full-time student, some take on the responsibility of a job as well.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students what job is the best and why.
Here's what they had to say.
Cooking plates, like real old school, like cooking dinners for people, like, and serving it up like Ashley does. Like, that's probably one of the best side hustles. Everybody want to eat, everybody hungry.
I would probably say thrifting clothes and reselling them because you can make a lot of money off of that and it's pretty cheap.
Thrifting, reselling thrifting clothing.
I think the best college side hustle for me has been working at a doggy daycare because it really helps me de-stress.
Well, I'm going to be very biased and say that you should become a wedding videographer or photographer.
Writing homework for other students and getting paid.
I'd say Uber Eats. I feel like people use that a lot, I guess.
Probably to get involved in like the stock market or just cryptocurrency. I feel like that's like a really big one.
Selling shoes, just because you can go with your own style and just sell to anyone, and you can make a lot of money.
I would say teaching swim lessons. I teach swim lessons here at the Dome, and that's a really nice paycheck coming in.
I think the best job I can think of is getting paid to go to school.
Getting paid to taste test ice cream would be my perfect college job.
It wasn't a jackrabbit, but a young moose that was spotted running around the Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium in Brookings last week. On Friday afternoon, many people uploaded videos to Twitter of a moose running loose in the SDSU stadium. The moose ran toward the goal line before heading to the exits at about the 3-yard line. The SDSU Police Department tweeted updates as they tried to corral the animal and move it out of town. After about 30 minutes, officers let the public know that the moose was off campus and headed toward Volga.
Pick up this week's issue of the Volant with a story on USD veterans. Also check out tomorrow night's coverage of the volleyball game at 6 on Coyote Radio, 91.1 KAOR FM.
That's all for Coyote News. Follow us on our Coyote News social media pages.
Watch and listen for Coyote News daily updates throughout the week, also in Spanish.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.